Before we get started today, I wanted to take a moment to let everybody know that in this episode, we are talking about some serious things, covering some more intense topics at times. So this is a official discretion warning that if topics of mental health and family struggles are triggering or upsetting to you, this may not be the episode for you. That being said, thank you for being here. Let's begin the episode.
In the Magic the Gathering community, the people are entertained by two separate yet equally unimportant groups: the content creators who contribute to the health of the formats, and the bored idiots with too much free time who only make things worse. This is the latter.
Hello and welcome back to the Lockthwain Lobby podcast. It's been a minute. My name is Aaron Second of Lockthwain. I am your host, as always. Don't call to come back. I've been here for years. I am joined, as always, by the box of Dragon Shield sleeves that comes a little bit damaged. It's Russ, my partner in slime.
It's me. I've been here the whole time.
I don't, I don't think we're allowed to say that, bud.
Sure we can. You can't copyright. I've been here the whole time.
They're sure gonna try. Uh, We're back. We have taken some time off. April is a really tough month for me this year. I know Russ had some stuff going on. We'll get into that a little bit later. But before we dig far too deep into our personal lives, Russ, let's talk about this month
Month
in
in Magic.
in
Yeah.
Magic. What have you been up to? Get us caught up with you.
So I haven't played a ton of casual Commander. I mostly been playing some CDH, but a lot of Popper is what I've been really getting into lately. I've been in the Popper HSM League that's been going on. We just finished round one and round two just started the other day. I won my first round against Poison Storm. I'm playing Blue-Black Tempo Fairies, which is one of my favorite decks in that format of all time.
And how's that going for you so far?
Well, I won the first round. Poison Storm tends to not be a great matchup going into fairies, and so I just had to always hold up 2 mana menacingly for my counter spells or spell stutter
Fantastic.
sprites.
You heard it here first, folks. Fairies are immune to poison.
True. Is that actually true in Pokemon? Hang on, let me bring up a deck chart.
I don't know, man. I haven't played Pokemon since long before fairies and poison became official subtypes.
Fairy actually does take half damage from poison, I think, or I might have it the other way around. Poison. Poison does double damage on fairies.
Well, that means nothing to us in this situation.
Yeah, we don't scalp our card game. Anyway, what about you, Aaron? What have you been up to in Magic?
I've had kind of a lot going on with Magic this month. I recreated an old deck of mine, an old favorite deck of mine, which is Armix and Silas Ren, and have been messing around with that. I disassembled my CEDH deck and combined it with my Cosima deck to make something that I personally enjoy more than either of those separate products were doing for each other. Um, and I've been going to a new game store on Tuesday night with some friends of mine. Shout out Michael and Tina. Talk about them a little bit more later. But on Tuesday nights, I've been going to a store down in Northern Kentucky, hanging out and enjoying a Commander night outside of my normal ecosystem.
Yeah, don't shout them out or anything. We're not popular enough to give free publicity, am I right?
Hey, I mean, uh, yeah, I guess so. I don't think they have publicity to receive. They're just kind of like people. I would describe Michael and Tina as the neighbors from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
I was talking about shouting out the store.
Oh, that too. They also exist.
Yeah.
Um, but no, Michael and Tina are the best. Just hanging out with them again has been fantastic. And it's kind of helped me out a lot. So, with that said, Russ, let's get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, the main dish, the entree of our episode today, and that is talking about burnout. This is something we've talked a little bit about before, we've commented on before. We have kind of jumps roped around, but we've never really approached directly. So I wanted to ask and kind of set some definitions and some terms. Russ, what is burnout for you? I know that we're two people, especially doing this content creation thing, that spend far too much time and far more time than most people do in the magic space. With that being said, what does burnout look like for you?
Burnout for me is when something that you typically use as a way to find enjoyment in life starts to become more of a chore, and it starts to frustrate you the more you think about it instead of make you happy.
I think that's a great baseline definition, and I would have to agree, especially when it comes to magic, where there are so many things and so many reasons where you could get frustrated. If you are a hater of Universes Beyond, and we're now about to go into a stretch of three consecutive Universes Beyond sets, that can be frustrating.
Are we really?
We are Star Trek, uh, Hobbit, and Marvel superheroes are back-to-back
I
reality
thought re
fracture.
I think Reality Fracture's in between two of those.
I believe Reality Fracture is the last set of the year, but regardless, that's not till September anyway. So you've got 5 months before the next in universe set.
Yeah, Reality Fracture is in between Hobbit and Star Trek, which is a statement that I do not like saying out loud.
Me neither. Um,
But one thing before we get away from it, I did want to uh, narrow down what we're talking about specifically in this episode. I think it was the idea for the name of this episode that you brought up, and it's avoiding burnout without avoiding magic.
yeah.
And that is because I love this hobby. I love
hmm
just about everything about this hobby, universes beyond notwithstanding, because we don't really have any room to talk about that anymore because of how much we enjoyed Avatar.
I have a conspiracy theory about all that, but I'll bring that up later.
Yeah, I enjoy just about everything about this game, from the community to the interesting brews that people come up with, everything about it. And when I'm burned out about this game, it's hard for me to shut my brain off and just stop thinking about it entirely. And so this episode serves as us talking about how we navigate the burnout without entirely avoiding this game that we love so much.
Well, and that's kind of what I have done in the past. I don't know about you, is when I've gotten burnt out, there have been times where I just kind of throw everything aside. Um, I mean, that was before I was entrenched in the community that we have, is entrenched in the communities that we've joined together, the communities that you have dragged me kicking and screaming into that are now some of my favorite. Shout out Tag C one more time. Um, but it comes down to a lot of times when you do feel this way, where this thing that I love and this thing that I want to do is a chore. It's something I don't take joy in anymore. Every time I look at a new brew, it feels exactly the same. Nothing brings me joy from this anymore. It is very easy to just step away from it and ignore it from a while. And I think part of the problem with that is, sure, your issue with what's causing you to feel that way might be overexposure, but it also doesn't fix the issue.
Right. Sometimes the issue can be overexposure. Sometimes it can be getting frustrated about a long string of losses. Sometimes it can be what we've talked about before. When I believe we've addressed a little bit of burnout before when I was starting to become a little disenfranchised with product fatigue and all these other things, which is
hmm
power mismatches that can get frustrating, especially if nothing ever happens to resolve it.
Yeah, and you brought up product fatigue, and I think that's a great place to start here. Um, Avoiding the product fatigue burnout, at least to me, is pretty easy right now. When a new set comes out, I tend to have a certain budget that I want to spend for that set. I'll typically allow myself to buy a booster box. Sometimes it'll be a commander deck or a bundle as well. This time I'm saving to get a codex bundle when those come out because Strixhaven has just been gorgeous. Um, and so sometimes I'll set aside a budget for that. I don't think it's too hard, especially in a day and age where we have 8 sets a year and half of them I just don't care about, to take that same money, that same, let's say $200, and either set it aside for something else or use that same money to build a deck like I've done recently during the Ninja Turtles era.
Right. And that I mentioned it before. I've mentioned it many times on this podcast, but getting into Popper has really helped
Mhm.
me take a big step back from getting so fatigued from looking at all these products that are coming out at such a rapid pace. I think there was only a 1 month break between Ninja Turtles and Strixhaven.
I don't even know if it was a full month. Let me, I mean, it was certainly close. It didn't really feel like it. And I think that part
It
of the
was
problem with that,
unnaturally short. Yeah.
I didn't particularly care about Ninja Turtles, but to the people that did care about Ninja Turtles, it's the same problem as the people that care about Strixhaven for us is we won't have enough time to breathe with it.
Yeah.
Lorwyn was 2 months ago, dude.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. We can talk about how much we hate the universes beyond and how easy it is for us to step away from universes beyond. It was just over a month, by the way. Um,
Oof.
we can those of us who don't like universes beyond can step away from it, but you also have to acknowledge that there is a group of people that love the universes beyond stuff. They just got Ninja Turtles, and then while they're at the height of enjoying it, and people all around them, myself included, telling them how terrible it is, then immediately get smacked with another set that they didn't have time to digest what they enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I think keeping that in mind is a good thought as well. But
Yeah.
getting into other formats like Popper is a great idea. You are stepping away from the stress and I don't want to say aggravation, but the brain power that it takes to brew something new and the motivation that it takes to find a color combination and a commander in those color combinations that speaks to you. And you're stepping into a established meta, something that you know what's good, what's playable.
Hmm.
And instead of going from, I think we talked about this earlier this week, instead of going from a card pool that is this big, and for those of you who can't see my hands, it's about a foot and a half apart, to a format and a card pool that is this big, which is now about 2 inches across.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I think the biggest part of the product fatigue was it felt like spoiler season was just never ending, like day after day after day after day after day. It was just a new channel releasing some card
Yeah.
that's supposed to be a limited bomb or a constructed bomb, and it's just ultra powerful. Now I just wait for the Friday that the card gallery is out and I sort by common and I see if there's anything interesting.
I mean, I don't disagree. The constant spoiler season kind of sucks. And on top of the constant spoiler season, you also have with every set 3 or 4 themed secret layers. And it's just impossible to keep up with all of it. And
Well, you don't like going back to school?
I love going back to school. I don't love what they did with anyway. Um, the the whole problem right now, it gets very easy to look at Magic and go, this isn't for me anymore because I can't keep up with it. When, especially in Commander and Popper and those kinds of things, it's easy to say, I don't care right now. Let's look at what I do care about. And I do the same thing. I really have come to enjoy the reveal streams, at least. But for
Hmm.
the most part, I've kind of been ignoring spoilers. I know in our personal channel, I designated the universes beyond spoilers to their own space, and then I just muted them. Number
Right.
one, it keeps people who want to talk about those things, it gives them a space without the naysayers and the people coming in and attacking them for it. But it also gives me a mental break away from seeing Thor on a Magic card.
Yeah. Um, I think I'm gonna talk about Popper a lot in this episode just because
Please
I've
do,
been
yeah.
enjoying it so much. The last three sets that come out, there have been, I think, at most four cards from each set. And the most that have come out, the most that have been relevant for Popper were four cards from Ninja Turtles, which makes it a lot easier to, for lack of a better word, kind of just suck it up and deal with the fact that Universes Beyond is here to stay. Because when these cards come down, It's like, oh, yeah, okay, that just does this and it's just good and you're not playing it because you think it's funny or haha uh rage baiting anything. It's like, yeah, this is a one mana artifact that taps or untaps something.
I don't hate that mentality around all of this. The idea of separating the cards from where they come from and into what they do I think is a smart way to approach that. I personally can't do that because when I build, I want everything to feel cohesive, and
Right.
my decks all have a vibe to them. Whether or not that is a strict theme is kind of comes and goes, but all of my decks have a vibe to them. And to me, flipping through that deck and seeing a Ninja Turtle just kills that vibe every time for me. But if you are able to find a way to enjoy those things and to bypass the just kind of gut feeling of not great. I think that's fantastic.
Right. I was actually wrong. There was a lot more relevant cards in Secrets of Strixhaven than there were in Ninja Turtles, but I digress. The sentiment is still the same.
So, moving on a little bit from this point, the next thing I wanted to bring up is something that I personally have gone into lately, and that is game tracking. So, last year, we put a heavy focus on, at the end of the year, the 100th game and all this information and all of this data. I came to the realization earlier this year, before a lot of the stuff that I've been going through lately started happening, that I was not enjoying Magic in the same way. And I don't know this is something that you've encountered as well, but I realized that I was not enjoying Magic in the same way. And I realized it was because the competitive side in me saw every game that I was losing, saw my win rate going up and down, and saw these games that I was trying to keep up with it turned it into a chore. Every time there was a game, it was okay, my win rate just went down to 16%. I need to do this to get to and it turned it from something I was doing for fun into a competition with myself that I was losing. So, one of the things that I've decided is to stop tracking my games, which is something that I have done for the last 3 years. And since doing that, I have to say, I have been having a whole lot of fun playing Magic the Gathering.
I don't necessarily know that you need to stop tracking games. Maybe just stop tracking wins and losses. Like,
Hmm.
keep track of how many games you've played with each deck. Turn it into less about ones and zeros and more about, oh, this deck hasn't gotten as much love from me in the last couple of months, so maybe I'll give this a couple games.
And I think that might be a good way to go with it. I have a rough idea of what my win rate is going to look like at any time. I do not play games of Magic to win. I mean, that's not true. We all play to win. We all want an opportunity to win the game, and when you do so, it's cool. But my main purpose is to build interesting and different things that showcase cards that don't see that same level of play. So the idea of just taking a step back and not caring about the fact that I haven't won a game in 10 games, which is how this year started, it helps.
Hmm.
I mean, moving, unless you have more to build off of that, I know that's kind of a me thing more than it is a you thing. It's something that I've been doing a bit more to an advanced level. You've been tracking your CDH games.
I even
Something.
stopped doing that entirely. I haven't been focusing as hard on CEDH. Like
Mhm.
I have a local group that I play with once every other week or so, and we have a great time. We just all sit down. Usually have just enough to run a single pod for a couple games, and we call it a night on like every other Friday night.
Mhm.
We just get some games in, we hang out at an LGS nearby, get our games in, call it a night.
Well, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Something that you went through recently as a brewer and as a player is you kind of looked yourself in the face with your Yisan deck and you told yourself, I don't know if I'm enjoying this anymore.
Hmm.
And we had that conversation, and that was kind of a big moment for me to hear from you. As much as you still play Yisan, you have it together, you're enjoying it, you've kind of pivoted off something else. What was that moment for you where you decided, I think I need a break from this deck for a while?
Well, it was actually in the last round that I played of the HSM CEDH League. There was a lot of points where I was only able to hold up either a Yisan activation or like one or two extra mana on top of that and nothing to do with that extra mana. And it became very frustrating to have excuse me, have everyone look at me as sort of like the table police because I'm playing all of these interaction pieces as creatures and just not being able to do anything, and we just lose to the turbo player because I'm on mono green and no one else wants to play interaction.
So processing that and working through that as somebody who has built this deck from the ground up, what was that like for you to kind of walk through when you had that realization?
Well, it made me I kind of talked about this with some other people in the Yusan Discord. Um, and a lot of the other guys in there have been experiencing something very similar. Like Yisan is kind of just missing that one solid piece that we can tutor off of a verse, and it sort of helps us just get to the later portion of the game. Yisan just doesn't have that right now. I'm kind of hoping for maybe like a rule of law on a creature in reality fracture. If it's going to be
Yeah.
if it's going to be a planar chaos set, like they're kind of teasing it or leaking it to be based on what people are claiming is in it, then I don't think a green rule of law creature is that far off from existing. But until then, I've been kind of pivoting to Toph, and it has felt extremely good to have access to not only similar combos that Yisan runs, but also interaction through white silence effects, red removal, pyroblast, red elemental blast, all these other effects, in addition to running similar combos that Yisan already does.
Well, I like something you said there, and something that, I've been dealing with as I look at my decks that I play more, the decks that I don't play as much, and how we go through things is, you're talking about this deck that you built from the ground up. You've become sort of a mainstay in the community and something that you're dealing with, maybe not enjoying anymore. And you said, well, maybe there's something in the future set that I'm going to like for it. And I think that mindset is really interesting to keep in mind as we look at these decks and we look at what we're doing and saying, okay, I'm not enjoying this right now. This
Hmm.
deck specifically feels played out and burnt out, but reality fracture is coming up. That could be something interesting. I'm going to set this aside for now instead of taking it apart.
Right.
I like that idea as a lot, and I like that as another one of our solutions that we're talking about, avoiding the burnout of Magic without avoiding Magic. We both have several other decks. We both have other things that we can try and that we can do. Setting one of them aside, no matter how much we love it, and say, I need a break from this one, I'm going to come back to it, is perfectly healthy, I think.
Oh, and I will take this opportunity to let our lovely community know that I have unfortunately disassembled Mimeoplasm. The
No.
deck, as much as I love combo decks, the deck very quickly turned into Mulligan for Buried Alive, do the same combo.
Yeah, and I don't love that feeling either. When you've developed a deck to a point and you're happy with the deck to that point, and then you look down, you realize you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It can absolutely just kind of shatter that disillusionment that you have with it.
But what about you? Do you have any additional thoughts on this particular point?
Uh, I'm someone who builds a lot of decks, and I spend a lot of time on Scryfall and building new things. And the thing that I've done recently in that vein is I've gone back. This is my third one, actually. I've gone back recently and revisited old builds, things that I had taken apart for this exact reason, and I've reassembled them with the skills and the knowledge that I have now. And to be honest, I'm enjoying them a lot more. My Shadowheart deck, my Armix and Silas Ren deck, and my Kinzu deck are three things that I had 2 years ago. They are decks that I have built myself, that I have spent time with, loved, and gotten tired of. And the reason that I took each of them apart, Armix and Silas Ren eventually turned into an eggs slash CEDH slash I'm going to take all the time in the world deck. Okay, cool. I'm not putting KCI in that deck. I'm not putting this in that deck. This is an easy one for me to rebuild and figure out that challenge of, and I'm still working on that challenge. Building a blue-black artificer deck and trying to find a way to win with it without the KCI loops is a challenge that I'm enjoying.
Nice.
Shadowheart turned into mono black good stuff, and someone used those words with me once and it gave me an ick. I don't
Hmm.
care about that ick anymore. I looked over that deck list and I look over what I've got now, and I don't care that it's good stuff cards. The play patterns, the way that the commanders, I should say, specifically interact with the deck and how they get you to that point of good stuff is interesting, it's unique, it's cool, and it's mine. So I've stopped caring about that title of good stuff. I've stopped caring if there are generically good cards in those decks because we talk about doing things creatively, and sometimes doing things creatively means using a creative and different way to get to those good cards. And I've had so much fun with this new version of Shadowheart. Honestly, it has reignited my love for mono black, and I've been digging into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, the term good stuff pile has always kind of bothered me
Hmm.
because coming from a background of playing modern, when I got back into the format, the best deck in the format was called Four Color Money Pile.
Yep.
And I think that's a way funnier term. And if we're talking about good stuff piles, we should just call them that instead. But I digress.
I-
Good stuff piles as a derogatory term for a deck doesn't mean that we should be using worse cards to accomplish the same thing.
Mhm.
You can do creative things with good cards.
Well, look, I mean, looking at that deck list, I mean, on that, that's an excellent point. I mean, looking at this deck list, it is an expensive deck list. Over the last however many months that I have built this deck, I built this deck, rebuilt this deck back in August. Wow, I've already had this for almost a year. Love that for
Well,
me.
you've been looking at it for a while.
I have. But there are some generically good cards in here. I do run Urborg and Cabal Coffers. I do run Lake of the Dead. I run some really optimized and fancy things. There's a demonic tutor in here. There's dark petition tutors, Yawgmoth, that kind of thing. But then I look at the other side of it, and I look at the incarnation technique, which has been a signature card of mine for a while. I look at Soul Exchange, Call to the Underworld, Shallow Grave. These cards that you don't see that kind of exposure with. There's an Unholy Citadel in here, for Pete's sake.
Nice.
I, there are generically good cards in here, but then there's also Marshmist Titan that I can play on soon as turn 3 to draw 4 cards off of a body. This deck is cool and it's beautiful and it's $1,200 of I put this together once right the first time. Let's now find the most expensive copies of things and continue to use them.
Hmm.
And I love it. And I've really come to terms with the idea that I can enjoy good cards. I don't have to be the person who only plays that weird rare that was first seen in Homelands.
Yeah.
Although I do
Um,
kind of like Homelands. I am a Homelands truther.
that is kind of your shtick, though. Yeah. I think I was was I the one who told you about Soul Exchange?
You are the one who put me on with Soul Exchange, and it is now in 3 of my black decks.
And I
Uh,
stumbled across that card after watching Sam Ristic Study's video about Fallen Empires.
yeah, Soul Exchange is a Fallen Empire card for 2 black. Essentially, it says you can exile a creature from the battlefield and reanimate something directly from the graveyard to the battlefield at sorcery speed. If the creature sacrificed was a throw, That creature gets a +2/+2 counter on it. Not two +1/+1 counters, a +2/+2 counter.
You
So
know
if
what's really interesting about that? A weird synergy that I just realized.
what's that?
That combos with black market connections.
It does combo with black market connections. It also is really interesting in an Endrick Sar build.
Or Tevesh Zot.
I mean, like we're talking about this, we're joking, but it's really funny to me. I mean, I can
Somebody
talk
tell Eggs about this card for Tevesh Zot and Rog.
eggs. We should.
Rog
I mean,
Tevesh. Play
I
Soul
mean,
Exchange.
but that deck was my favorite deck 2 years ago, and it's my favorite deck now, and I love to have it back. It is a deck that I will tell everybody every time I pull it out. If you go on EDH Rec and you look at the combination of Shadowheart and the background Scion of Halaster, and you look at the number of decks that are on there, it's anywhere from 40 to 60 now. The vast majority of those have been me tinkering with this deck. Every change on that page, every different card has been me experimenting with that card in this deck sometime in the last 2 years. And while I understand there are other people that use that a small amount, that's a really interesting moment for me to go, this is my deck. And this page on the internet, in my own secret way, is my journey to this deck. And it's cool. And it kind of gives me a sense of pride that I don't haven't earned. But,
You feel the same sense of pride with that deck that I do with Lucius.
I really do. And it's my child deck. And the same goes for the third deck that I put back together, which is the Kinzu of the Bleak Coven deck. This is a deck that uses really weird rules interactions at time. It messes around with things. And it's a mono black deck that does not run recursion. The issue with the original deck is I lean too far into the infect and toxic side of things, which is very easy to do. This time, I've just used some really interesting cards that I have since discovered, like Death Greeter. Friends, if you are not running a Death Greeter, I'm recommending you go to your local game store, pay $1.57 and get a Death Greeter. One black mana for a 1/1. Whenever another creature is put into a graveyard from play, you may gain a life.
Hmm.
That's a really solid little common. That's all I'm gonna say.
But before we get too far away from our actual topic, and we maybe next week we'll gush about your Kinzu deck a little bit more because I really enjoy that deck. That deck's really funny.
Me too. It's super funny,
Um,
super weird.
what is the next topic on avoiding burnout without avoiding magic?
Well, so the next side of it that I wanted to get into is kind of what I've been going through lately, if that's, okay with you, man. I don't want to,
Sure.
stop over anything. And how Magic the Gathering at its purest form, this is kind of my wrap-up topic. Magic the Gathering at its purest form should be an escape. It should be something you do for enjoyment, it should be something you learn about. For those of you in my immediate community, as well as the people of That's a Good Card, who I just, real quick, I know we shout them out a lot. Kyle and
Mhm.
Ya, when they found out all of this was going on, and I got my tokens from them, because they do custom tokens for Patreons of a certain tier that have been around for a while. Ya and or Kyle, I don't remember who it was, I'd have it on my fridge, hand wrote me a note expressing their apologies for what's going on to my family, expressing their support and offering anything I could need. And that's just far too much. That is above and beyond, and that's the reason that I've been in that community. I will continue to be in that community. That's just who those guys are.
Yeah. When they sent me my tokens for their Patreon, they did not address it to Russ or Four Eyes White Gamer or anything like that. They addressed it to Suki's dad. And that made me really smile. I was having a kind of rough day that day, and that really brought me up a lot. So shout outs to
It's
Kyle and Yaw.
they're just so sweet. They're so genuine, and their podcast and their presence has helped me out a lot. But for those of you who know, my dad on April 1st suffered a catastrophic health failure, and we lost him for about half an hour on an emergency room table. He has since recovered, and he's going to assumedly at this point make a full recovery mentally and physically. But this has been something that has rocked and destroyed every aspect of my life for the last 29 days. It has been sleepless nights, stress, mental and physical agony, just so much to go through. And when I look at what I've done to get through this month, I look back at countless hours in a hospital room with my dad in a coma, goldfishing a new CEDH deck, goldfishing one of these decks that I've put together and edited to learn the lines, using this hobby that has come to be such a huge part of my life to, while I'm sitting in this room, step away from the reality of things and have something to cling to. And I did not realize until really a few days ago when I'm actually processing this stuff how huge magic has been during all of this. And I don't want to talk forever. I want to give you a chance to talk, Russ, but during that same time, I reached out to my local game store, the one that I work at, and I said, "Hey guys, this is what's going on. I would really like to not work on Thursday nights, come up and hang out with the commander group and just pretend everything's okay." There was no hesitation to say I could do that. My community, the Thursday night game group, that one night a week where everybody knew what was happening, but not a single one of them came up to me and said, "Hey, how's your dad doing?" It was Eric giving me the biggest hug in the world and then sitting down for a commander game. It was pretending for just a few minutes that everything was okay. And Tuesday nights with Michael and Tina have become the same thing, going up to another store in the area, sitting down with Michael, Tina, and sometimes a stranger, and just playing Magic. I learned a new appreciation for this hobby that we are in this month. And I mean, at that point, I'll kind of pass it over to you because I'm sure you have some similar experiences. But with I've been going through and what we've done, having this in front of me as an escape has just given me an appreciation for the importance of it to my mental health, burnout or not.
Yeah. Um, I don't like to talk about this particular topic a lot, but when I moved from Ohio to Alabama, I wasn't on the best terms with my parents. Things are a little bit better with my mother now,
Mhm.
but I still haven't spoken to my father since I moved, and that was almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
And the one constant that I could rely on to stay the same despite moving was Magic the Gathering.
Mhm.
And even more recently, I when I was starting to like really feel burnt out on playing Yisan and just playing CEDH as a whole, I started looking around for these pauper tournaments. I found the one that we mentioned the last time we had an episode, which was the win a poster event at JC's House of Cards in Huntsville. I just stumbled across it from a server from a Pauper podcast that I listen to. Shoutouts to Common Ground. And he just posted, the guy who was running it just posted about it in the events channel in there. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to this. I'm probably gonna uh, get my butt handed to me. I'm gonna play some Booger Fog. I'm just gonna run some games, see how I feel about this format after having not played it since before Lord of the Rings came out. And it was about a 2.5 hour drive, something like that. And I got there, and the guy who was running it asked me where I was from. I told him I'm from Birmingham. And he's like, "Oh man, that's awesome. I was really hoping someone would come up." And this dude got me introduced into the other people that are from that area. And we just spent the entire like 3 or 4 hours that I was there when he wasn't running a tournament and I wasn't playing around, just brewing and just talking and hanging out. And it felt like going to Mavericks all over again because I just felt like I had a place where I could just kind of be myself, you know?
I mean, that's amazing. And that's what Magic is supposed to be about.
He also spent about an hour trying to gas me up into playing Pauper Merfolk at the next event that he runs. It's not gonna happen, bro. Just let it go.
I think it should happen.
Because he almost won me over because he was like, just imagine it, bro. If you win like 2 rounds, the entire store will pop off. He almost had me on that one, but I held strong.
I mean, I guess I think what we're saying here is there's an old saying that in times of crisis, you kind of realize what you do and don't appreciate the most. And I think what we're both realizing, you moving, and I know how much of a toll it took on you, not only the issue with your parents, but moving away from your friends, the people that you care about most, and going to the other side of the country. Sure, you went to be with your now wife, which is amazing, and I'm so happy for you, but I know how hard that was. And you
Yeah.
found solace in trying new groups, new communities. And in that moment, you kind of felt like you were home again for a minute. And then my situation is very similar. And I think the final answer that I guess we have is avoiding burnout and avoiding these problems mentally through Commander and through Magic without avoiding it is just appreciation for it.
Yeah.
We can bitch and moan and complain about the state of the game all that we want. But at the end of the day, we are spoiled by the reality of what we have, the communities that we have, the people that we have, and the opportunities that we have to continue to play this game and to use it as that escape from real life. And the one thing that I came away from this month is a new appreciation, not only for this game, but the people around me that I play this game with. Our server notwithstanding, last thing I wanted to say on that, just for several different reasons, our server, our community, has come through for me in so many ways this year, and I'm just so grateful and so appreciative. And I'm really starting to realize what we have.
Yeah. And you're about to hate me, but this is about to be the hottest segue this side of the Mississippi because you mentioned the word spoiled, and I would like to talk about some cards from Strixhaven.
Woo! Let's do it. Let's end on a high note. I know
Yeah.
it got a little serious there, and I think it was important for it too, because gives a little context about where we have been for the last month and why we've kind of stepped away from the streaming and the episodes. Let's talk about Strixhaven because this is. I know we both were super high on Lorwyn. I think this might be the set of the year so far.
It's close. So I have one card from each color, and then one artifact card, one multicolor card, and one land that I want to talk about.
I'd like the record to show that I was not warned about this, so I do not have this preparation ready.
Yeah, that segue was just too good to pass up, though. All
uh,
right. I think
let's,
you might share some of these cards, maybe one or two of them, but I have one card for each monocolor.
yeah,
So my white card is Erode.
I think that's a pretty well shared one. I don't plan on playing Erode a whole much. Why don't you go ahead and read what Erode does?
So Erode is basically uh, a path to exile, but instead of exiling, it destroys.
Hmm.
But it can also hit planeswalkers.
Seeing what came out in Strixhaven and the early spoilers that we have for the Reality Fracture set coming out and Ugin and Tezzeret that we've gotten in the last year, I think Erode might be the strongest removal spell in Standard that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, before that it was what, shoot the sheriff?
I think it was Shoot the Sheriff, and that was very restrictive because a lot of the best stuff was from Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Not only that, but also in CEDH, the Tezzeret is also making waves in that format. And
Hmm.
so just having another way to remove him in response to any one of his abilities is just very strong.
Erode is a four of in white in Standard, and I think it is like I said, I think it's the best removal spell we've seen in Standard in a long time. Love it. What do you got for blue?
I have Harmonized Trio.
With a
This
Merfolk. Of
this is
course
the
you would have the
Merfolk
Merfolk.
that has Brainstorm attached to it. It's not going to make any waves in Modern. We've been talking about a lot in the Merfolk Discord, which I've quick aside, I've been getting heavily back into the Merfolk Discord server because this was like one of the first communities that I was really a part of in the Magic the Gathering sphere. And it's so good to just see so many of the names that I knew years ago just still be there.
That's cool.
But yeah, this creature for a single blue, you can tap it and then also tap two untapped creatures you control to prepare this creature, and its prepared spell is Brainstorm.
I don't agree on that one being the one that I'm hyped about the most.
Well, this card actually goes into Svelune. And I
I mean,
know I don't talk about that deck a lot, but it actually triggers Deep Root Pilgrimage twice.
it absolutely does. It's really, really good card. My big one is a card that I think might just force stock up out of standard is Flow State.
Yes. If I had a nickel for every time a 2 mana uncommon from a Strixhaven set broke Legacy, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened
But it's
twice.
weird that it happened twice. Yeah, Flow State looks great. I think the whole set looks awesome, but it's also very balanced. Flow State is
You
essentially,
say that, but it's literally breaking Legacy right now.
well, that's what Legacy gets for existing. That's their fault.
It's yeah, go ahead and read what it does, and then I'll say why it's breaking Legacy.
So it's essentially a mono blue expressive iteration. It just says for one in a blue sorcery, look at the top three cards of your library, put one in your hand and the rest on the bottom of any order. If there is an instant and a sorcery card in your graveyard, instead put two in hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. This card is wild.
Yeah. So the reason why it's breaking Legacy is because the best deck in the format right now is blue X Tempo, either Is It or Dimir. And so you can go turn one Island Ponder, force of will your opponent's turn one play, and then have Flow State turned on turn two.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And this is actually better than Expressive Iteration because typically you would want to save your Expressive Iteration for turn three so that you could play the land that you exile off of it or something like that. But this, you can play it on turn two, refill your hand from the Force of Will pitch blue card that you just did, and still save your land drop for the next turn.
Wild.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane, and a lot of people are saying it's not long for this world already.
Oh yeah, I don't think it is. What do you have for my favorite color, black?
So I haven't mentioned this card a single time, but I was looking through the Secrets of Strixhaven card gallery the other day, and I stumbled across it. And I want you to try and guess what deck I'm gonna try and put it in. This is Melancholic Poet.
Read it for me.
So it's one and a black for a creature elf bard, and it has repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, each opponent loses one life and you gain one life.
Is this is this going in your Popper Fairies deck?
No. So this is a common, but no. Let me ask you about one particular card type that will typically target a creature. Do flings target?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That's wild. Oh, that's
So
going.
yeah,
Oh,
this
that's
goes straight into
crazy.
Lucius, and it gives me a little extra drain gain to help me get life totals down a little bit faster.
That's nuts. I love that.
What do you
Um,
got for black?
so I have two actually. I have one that's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek and one that I think is actually really good. The tongue-in-cheek one that now has a home in my Kinzu deck is me. They so this was spoiled for me by a friend. They sent it to me, and it's just absolutely a card that is made for me. The card is called Arnin, Deathbloom Botanist, Arnyn, and it is a Death Touch 2/2. Whenever a creature you control, power or toughness one or less dies, target opponent loses two life and you gain two life. That card was made for Kinzu. And it's just it's crazy, and I love that card, and it's me. It has my name on
Yeah, enough said. Yeah, that's good
it.
card for Kinzu has your name almost on it.
And then the card that I think is sneakily the strongest one in Command, and I was talking to our
Oh, do
good
we have an
friend.
honorable mention?
We do. Good friend Anthony Davenport brought this up.
Oh
Grave
dear.
Grave Researcher, which is the reanimate prepared
Yeah.
spell, might very sneakily be the strongest black card in the set. Two and a black at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil one. That's already, I mean, stop the tweet. But at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil one. Then, if there are three or more creature cards in your graveyard, this creature becomes prepared. Reanimate. Uh,
Yeah, just having access to a second copy of Reanimate in any black deck is already just going to be incredibly
and
strong. And you're already going to be dumping creatures into your grave, so you're always going to be able to prepare it.
it's gonna feed the grave itself. I had this in Kinzu because on your end step, I can throw away any number of my dredge creatures or any number of, like I can easily make this happen. It's a reanimate that feeds itself. This
Yeah.
card just says cast reanimate every turn. Yeah.
Um, what do you got for red?
So for red, I don't have the name on top of me. I'd have to pull it up in my Vysandra deck. It is the Seething Song prepared card.
Yes, 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 yes. That card
his
is nuts.
I mean, it's crazy. Its name is Blazing Fire Singer, and it
Yeah.
just says it's two in a red. This creature enters prepared, seething song. Now, it being uncommon, it does not have a way to prepare itself, which I personally think is a great idea. But this is going to slot into any Boros deck that runs Ephemerate, that runs any sort of the white flicker effects, an O-ring deck. It's nuts. A seething
Or
song,
any is it deck that runs Displacer Kitten.
or any is it deck that runs Displacer Kit. It's infinite mana with Displacer Kit.
Yeah. Infinite mana, infinite storm.
I mean it's a two card infinite combo in the uncommon slot. Now, it is technically mana negative unless you have one of those flicker effects ready to go. But I mean going one mana negative to have infinite seething songs, I'm not too mad about that.
I could see in CDH, I could see Rog Thras trying this out.
I was thinking about that too. Rogthras could certainly try it out. I was gonna say Ral might try it out.
Or
The
Loot, the Teamer Loot.
the teamer loot could do good. The storm aspect of it would be good for Ral.
I think this card's too expensive for Ral. That deck doesn't even play Rhystic Study because it's 3 mana.
Sure.
It doesn't play Displacer Kitten either.
Oh, okay, then yeah, it's not even worth it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the hands in a way. That being said, the red Emeritus, the one with lightning bolt attached to it, is going to do some wild things in standard. I think Blazing Fire Singer is head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah, that card is extremely good, but I wanted to go against the grain with mine and choose a card that not a lot of people really thought of, I don't think.
Hmm.
Mine is Steal the Show.
Steal the show. I don't know what that does.
So this card has it caught my eye because of some absolutely gorgeous art by Pauline Voss. It is a two and a red for a sorcery that says choose one or both. Target player discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards. Then Steal the Show deals damage equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard to target creature or planeswalker.
That's kind of wild.
So this is another card I'm thinking about for Lucius.
I like that you're talking about Lucius again. I know there was a very brief second where you weren't sure how much more you wanted to continue with Lucius. It makes me very happy that you're talking about Lucius again.
Yeah. This card is just multifaceted. This card is honestly probably going to replace Black Market Connections. I know we talked about some other cards that could go in that slot, but this kind of fits the
Yeah.
exact bill that I want.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And then for green, I have Topiary Lecturer.
Russ, I'm going to quote my favorite tag team wrestlers of all time and say, I have two words for you.
Yes.
Turtle Wizard.
Turtle Wizard.
Ambitious Augmenter.
Yeah. Your
It
card is really good. The card's really good.
it's really nuts. It's just a cool card. I do love the oh God, what was the name of the one you said? God, we've talked about it as a potential in Yisan once or twice.
Topiary Lecturer.
Topiary Lecture.
So it's not going to
It's
be any good in Yisan, but it's very interesting for the other mono green decks like
mhm. Lumra,
Lumra and Yeva.
Lumra and Yeva definitely like it. I think anything running Ashaya, honestly, with an Ashaya style build, it's almost as good as a Gaia's Cradle. I mean, it's obviously not a Gaia's Cradle. I can see it being good in some of these fringe Brigid Selesnya decks that are coming up.
Right. I don't think they're fringe. That deck has been winning a lot.
Who knew having Gaia's Cradle in the command zone was super good for you?
Yeah, crazy. Gaia's Cradle that makes a creature on ETB. Anyway, I like that the increment mechanic is like evolve, which is one of my favorite mechanics of all time.
Hmm.
Um, I have a very soft spot for original Theros, and that was my favorite standard deck back in the day.
Yeah.
And just that mechanic plus being able to tap for mana makes this, I feel like it's gonna see at least some play in the Badger Mole Cub deck in Standard.
Oh, I think it is too. Um, Before we move into the multicolored, I'd like
Well,
to,
I have an artifact too.
well, I know, but before we get there, I just want to throw out, I think with the artifacts, we should kind of have two category, or the multicolor, we should have two categories. The dragon cycle and then just the regular non-dragon cycle, because I want to talk about a couple of things. Are you cool with that?
Sure,
Uh,
I only have one multicolor card.
okay, so what's your artifact?
My artifact is one that I was very hesitant about at first, but then I've seen it in action, and it is absolutely insane. It is Page Loose Leaf.
Really?
Yes, this card is incredible in Pauper.
Oh yeah, in Popper, I can imagine it's pretty wild. I was on Commander Brain for a second. Yeah,
No,
no,
so this card is insane in Pauper's Cycle Storm.
I think it's one of those cards that if they had printed you can have any number of this card on it, it would have been way too good.
Well, the interesting part about it that a lot of people, myself included, missed at first. Do you have the card in front of you right now?
I can.
So I'll read it real quick. So it has the ability Grandeur. It says discard another card named Page Loose Leaf. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an instant or sorcery card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is the entire ability. Do you know what phrase is missing from that ability?
Once per turn.
No. Well, yes, but also no. It is missing the phrase activate only as a sorcery.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this for monument decks too in standard.
Yeah. So what Cycle Storm does with this card is it plays it on turn two, sometimes turn one if they have a Lotus Petal or a Dark Ritual, and they use it to find their Songs of the Damned.
Ooh, I love that card. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so good.
They use it to find Songs of the Damned, and let me bring up Cycle Storm real quick because I forget the name of the other card.
Well, and that's almost immediately mana positive.
Oh yeah.
That's so good. I was just looking at the while you're looking that up, I was looking at the fact that you can do this at instant speed. Uh with it doesn't require any other activation cost. You can just throw it away to monument and get monument triggers. I think this is the common of the set.
Reaping the Graves, that's the other card.
Reaping the Graves is great. For 60 card constructed, I think this is the common of the set. And
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think
It's
it's
either
close.
this, there's a green spell that a lot of people were really high on too. It's like a Glorious Decay, that's what it is.
It's not a turtle wizard, so I couldn't care less.
Well, it's a common. That's the common that people are really high on right now.
Okay, yeah.
There's also a one mana green sorcery that draws a card.
That's pretty. One mana draw card is about the best rate you can get. I have no argument with that.
But what I saw someone do, shout outs to the Epic Storm. The dude is so wholesome. He was playing Cycle Storm with Page Loose Leaf, and he brought in Pyroblasts
Hmm.
for the Fairies matchup, I believe it was. And he cycled Page Loose Leaf and spiked a Pyroblast off the top of his deck,
That's so hot.
and was able to counter like something that was going to counter his vital play.
That is so cool.
It was so sick. Like, oh, we can just cycle a Page Loose Leaf here and hope to spike a Pyroblast. Oh, we found the Pyroblast. Let's counter that. And it's really interesting that Page does not require you to tap him to use this ability.
Yeah. So if you've got a way to I can see even in modern maybe or Pioneer Affinity, finding a way to just rotate this with any of the when this artifact dies, return to your hand kind of effect.
Well, the reason why you played in Cycling Storm is because you can get it back with Reaping the Graves.
That's also true. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Or a Call to the Underworld does the same thing.
Yes.
Discard cast hero mana for madness, put it back in your hand, do the thing.
But enough gushing about this random common that everyone thought was going to be good in Cycling Storm, and then no one thought it was going to be good in Cycling Storm. And guess what? It's great in Cycling Storm. Day one, there was like 4 or 5 people that got 5-0s in Pauper leagues with it.
What is your favorite non-dragon multicolored spell from the set?
So I think you can probably guess it is Lorehold Charm.
Yep.
This card is absolutely bonkers in Tough. You can get your candelabra back if you get enough creatures on the board to go for a big alpha strike. You can give them trample and you get the overrun effect. It's really good.
I also think that you could have just ended the tweet at this card is really good.
Yeah. For 2 mana at instant speed, get your candelabra back.
Yeah. It turns out that's also very good. For me, it is, I'd like to once again quote the J. Cole song. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Bleck Loafing Pest, which
Yeah.
mentions in the flavor text that our favorite pest, Blex, had passed, but that Witherbloom students still continued the tradition of a yearly search in his honor. The Sun, however, took little effort to find. And you know what?
That's
I
adorable.
I identify spiritually with Blex. I identify on a spiritual level with not being that hard to find. Also, Blex is a really cool card, and it provides some extra support for your Hapatra builds. A lot of the insect, snake, spider, those sub builds that people really like. I think Black is an interesting card and interesting design space.
Yeah. We also, I forget, I meant to mention this, but I did have an honorable mention for blue, and
Oh,
I
yeah, go
can't
ahead.
believe neither of us brought this card up just because of the art and how much it makes me like tear up looking at it, and it is homesickness.
Oh yeah, homesickness is adorable. I'm
It
I'm
it
trying.
makes me almost cry just looking at the art.
I'm trying not like to avoid mentions of family and
Yeah.
it's I mean it's tragic and what I was going through this month and what you've been dealing with it just kind of like yeah, let's pretend that doesn't exist for 10 minutes, why don't we? Homesickness is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um
So besides Prismari, which one of the dragons is your favorite?
so it's not which one is my favorite. I was going to ask you which one do you think is the strongest?
Oh, it's definitely Lorehold.
Okay. We're kind of on the same page with that then. My friend Michael, who has now been shouted out 4 times, the first thing he sent me when this set came out, because we talk Magic at work, was I'm building Lorehold, I need your help. And I was like, let's go.
Put
And
Rise of the Eldrazi in. Done.
step one, Rise of the Eldrazi. Step two, question mark. Step three, profit.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was all about it. It's the only deck he's played the last couple weeks beside I mean it's wild. It is nuts. The fact that it has flying and haste on it already. It's a big body and then if it was like a once per or like a on your upkeep do the draw thing, but every single turn you are discarding and drawing. So dude threw a scroll rack in there, some top deck manipulation stuff in there.
Does he
And
have Library of Lang in there?
I believe so. If not, I'm going to yell at him and make sure he does.
I'm just looking at the EDH rec page for this deck, and some of the cards that they put in there just to cast for 2 mana is hilarious. Like I see Hit the Motherload, I see Approach of the Second Sun. Let's see, I see Apex of Power, Dance with Calamity.
The whole
There's
it's
just some really funny cards in here.
yeah, the deck is crazy. A lot of I think too many people are talking about Prismari and Witherbloom, and not enough people are talking about Lorehold. The card is disgusting. Now, that being said, it has almost no viability in CEDH, but as a casual deck, it's almost a default bracket three.
Yeah, I would say at the very least it's bracket 3. It's hard to build this unless you're just doing like nothing but rituals or cantrips, which I don't even know if that's possible in Boros. Uh, oh, creative technique is so funny for this deck. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm gushing about this commander because it's so funny and it's
Well,
so
and it's
unique.
it's so we've been talking for a while about, how Boros doesn't really have a design space. This is Boros's design space. I mean, I love this for Boros. I mean, I probably could complain that it's far too strong, but this is Boros's design space. This is sick. We haven't seen anything like this in a long time, and it's still spiritually identical to the original Lorehold. 10 out of 10 card. Beautiful. Love it.
And it passes the vanilla test.
And it passes the vanilla test.
I think all of them do actually. 6 mana 6/6, 7 mana 7/7, 5 mana 5/5, 4 mana 4/4. Yeah, they all pass the vanilla test. Oh, sorry, no, Witherbloom doesn't because it has affinity for creatures and it has to cost 8 mana.
But Russ, all of that said, I'd like to go into my pocket and cast Redirect, targeting myself, and ask, where Queben?
Well, Aaron, we skipped lands, but that's okay because everyone's talked about Petrified Hamlet a million times
Yeah, we
already.
don't have to talk about Petrified Hamlet. Turning off Odawara and Boseiju is low-key kind of nutso, and that's fine with me.
Yeah. My Queben, I'm gonna recycle the one that I posted today because it got a lot
Wait,
of
wait, hold on, hold on,
engagement.
hold on, hold on. But I targeted myself, so I was gonna ask Queben. But go ahead.
No, Aaron,
You.
look at me, I'm Dick Queben now. Um, so because I was homesick all day today, I did the Queben because Aaron was also busy. My Queben was, what's your favorite card that interacts with only a specific commander?
Ooh, let me think about that for a second.
I'm gonna read some of the responses because this question got a lot of engagement today.
Oh, it did. It was really cool. I was watching it kind of passively, and I thought it was really cool.
So Foster posted a combo of Leadership Vacuum, which is two and a blue for an instant. Target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone, draw a card. With Vadrock Apex of Thunder, which is a mutate commander, he says move the creature you mutated into your command zone.
What the?
And then our dear friend Grand Arbiter just responded, it lives there now.
Because you can't cast it. It just stayed. Jesus Christ.
Samira talked about her Smeller B deck and comboing it with Braylon, Sky Shark Rider. Uh, let's see. Redux talked about Virtue of Courage in the Gale plus Passionate Archaeologist deck. Where was the funny one that I saw? Oh yeah, Eve posted Elish Norn Grand Cenobite with Dovescape, to which I immediately responded, Judge, this person is playing a blue-white enchantment with a mono-white commander. Oh man.
Um, I think my answer is actually pretty straightforward.
Oh, and then Beetle just posted Simic Ascendancy
Jesus.
with nothing else.
Mine is an interaction that the Howling Salt Mine has deemed 3 out of 5 peppers of spice. Parallax tied with Cosima, God of the Voyage. There
Yeah.
are very few other places that that card is going to do anything interesting besides destroying your lands. In Cosima, God of the Voyage, it is technically ramp, it is untap, it is card draw, and it is make big girl go big.
I was trying to think for the whole day of what mine would be for this. I honestly don't think I have one.
It's got to be something in Lucius, right?
Lucius doesn't really combo anymore. Not with the commander, at least. It's just kind of like throw thing at thing.
I mean, it's got to have some interesting cards, though.
It has interesting cards. I think that one of them is like the most interesting combo is very recent. It was when we added Necromancy
Oh,
as a flash reanimate that then kills Lucius and re-triggers him.
yes, love that.
So I
That's
think
got
that's
to be
gonna have to
that.
be my answer. Yeah,
Uh,
that's a really fun interaction that I haven't had the opportunity to get come up yet.
and then I want to ask one, and this is much quicker. What are you building right now? We haven't really talked much about brewing lately. What are you brewing?
I'm putting together a battle box for Popper so that when I try to get people into the format, they don't have to buy a deck right away.
That is awesome. I like that a
So far
lot.
I've got Booger Fog, I've got Fairies, and I'm getting Mono Black Sacrifice and Spy combo together.
And I'm helping with Spy Combo. I'm gonna actually go through my bulk tonight because I took a nap earlier, and that means I'm not gonna sleep. Um,
Oh man. Yeah. Fun
I
times.
I'm building something weird and terrible. Is anybody shocked?
Absolutely not. That's your shtick, remember? We went over this.
I'm building Rain Academy Chancellor in Commander. Rain is 2 and a blue for a 1/1. Whenever I or a permanent I control are the target of a spell or ability controlled by one of my opponents, I may draw a card. If Rain is enchanted, I may draw another card. It's going to be kind of an interesting build. I'm going to try and do a lot of the more redirect effects or things that can like move targets around, obviously. And I just think it's going to be interesting. And I love the design on Rain Academy Chancellor and having taken apart the original Kosama build, I just wanted to try and do something with her.
There you go. Very straightforward weapon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, if you we just welcome back, Aaron, after your month hiatus. Welcome
Well,
back me from my month hiatus. I did a couple like nonsense streams in between then and now.
it's good to be
Uh,
back.
yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to finally get another recording in. If you liked what you listened to, drop us a subscription on YouTube or a follow on Spotify or whatever platform you're listening on. You can also find in the description our link tree, which has the link to our Discord. It has the link to our Twitch stream. It has the link to Spotify, YouTube. It has my Moxfield and Aaron's Architect. You can find all of the ways to get a hold of us. If you come into our Discord server, you can answer the Quebin, you can get games with us, you can look at the stupid memes that everyone posts, especially Foster. Um,
What's wrong with that guy?
we don't have enough time. We're wrapping up, Aaron. Um, we try to stream every Monday, either doing deck roasting or CDH or regular games. We just are every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do you want to talk about SCGCon real quick?
Yeah. First things first, join us next week for the full 2 hour episode titled What is Wrong with Foster? Uh, but we will be at SCG Con Cincinnati, which is the second weekend of May, third weekend of May, starting on Friday the 15th, going into Sunday the 17th. We are excited for this as our friend Serena, as we've talked about, has qualified for the regional championship here in Cincinnati. We will be handing out treasure tokens with our information on it with custom art by our favorite and beloved artist, Abby K. Dabby, in the Discord. We will also have custom sleeves that we are
No,
going.
actually, in the Discord, she's Abby Art Mom.
Oh, Abby Art Mom now, right? We will be having custom sleeves that we will be gifting our good friend Serena with to play. So, Serena, if you're listening to this, we're looking forward to that. Come out and see us. Come hang out with us. We're going to be kind of all over the place. Russ is going to be playing in multiple events. So, if you see Russ with the sleeves, feel free to ask any questions and bug Russ. He's very easily frazzled in a game of Commander. So, if you want to win, just ambush him with questions. I will be bouncing around
Huh?
some.
Hold on. Why am I catching a stray right now? Why? Why am I catching a stray?
I will be bouncing around between booths and vendors and really just having a great time. This is my first ever convention I've been to, so we are just
Wait,
so
really?
excited.
You've never been to like an SCG con?
I've never been to an SCG con. Last time it was in Cincinnati, there was zero advertising for it, and I missed it.
That's crazy.
I know, right? I have been Aaron, second of Lochthwain.
And I've
Uh,
been Russ the partner in slime.
they have
I
been.
got there before you could
No!
get any insult in this time.
They have been the one bent corner in your tournament legal 60 card deck.
You already made that joke.
I know, but you flustered me and you threw me off my game.
Talk about me getting frazzled in Commander games. You're getting frazzled on the outro.
um, let's go ahead and call it there.
Yeah, everyone, just remember that the best wins.
The flavor wins. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It is good to be back. It is good to be in our shenanigans, and I hope that you took something away from this episode that wasn't Aaron is bad at coming up with jokes on the spot. Thank you for being here, everybody. We love you. We'll see you.